Hello there, you're welcome to CNR Extra here on Citi TV. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. Coming up. Notorious illegal miner Aisha Huang and 3 others denied bail after pleading not guilty.
My worry is that the media has overhyped this small matter of mining without license and doing mineral sales without license.
Also, Ghana Airports Company Limited revokes interdiction on security officer under investigation for allegedly embarrassing National Security Minister. Still ahead, Ghana's inflation rises to hit 33.9% in the month of August.
Year-on-year inflation for the month of August 2022 stood at 33.9%. This indicates a 2.2 percentage point higher rate of inflation relative to the rate that was recorded in July 2022.
And later, road traffic offenders arrested during Citi TV's war against indiscipline campaign call for application of sport fines.
Why do you employ my vehicle? I have to go and work to feed my family. Do you expect me to go hungry just because you have committed a road offense? Why don't you not spot fine? Fine me, give me a letter, pay me payment, and go home.
As is always done on the show, it is interactive, and so we'd like to afford you the opportunity to contribute to the discussions or conversations that we will be having. The WhatsApp number is 0550585832. Send us your thoughts and your comments. You can also do same under the live feed on Facebook at Citi TV. This morning, I'm joined in studio by Jude Mensah Duncan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Nanatufo.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Same here.
Well, I mean, notorious illegal miner Aisha Huang was in court. We awaited her reappearing in court. She did so, and of course, the court denied her bail along with her other accomplices.
Circuit Court, where Chinese Galamsey Quinping Aisha Huang is expected to appear before the court over charges of her engagement in mining activities without a license. Aisha Huang was previously arrested by the police for a similar offense in 2018, but then was let go due to an application by the Attorney General of Noli Prosequa. She was deported from the country, but then was rearrested a couple of weeks ago for engaging in the same activity. She was arrested and is being processed for court today, and this will be her first appearance since her rearrest. The government and the Attorney General have expressed their commitment to ensuring that she is prosecuted this time around and made to face the full rigors of the law. Aisha Huang appeared in court today with 3 other Chinese nationals for similar offenses. They got to the premises at about 9:30 a.m. where they proceeded to the circuit court for them to have their case submitted and heard. Today's case is to focus on bail acquisition, and my colleague Hansen Ajiman was on the ground and has been following the proceedings.
All of them are being charged with counts of engaging in mining without permit, represented by former Member of Parliament for Brekum, Captain retired in Krabia, Ifa Date. These persons are yet to come out of the courtroom. Some of the court officials currently filing out of the courtroom. That is Captain in Krabia, Ifa Date. We are yet to see the accused persons. Police officers soon should be expected to escort Aisha Huang and 3 other Chinese persons who have been arrested. It's been an interesting moment in court today as Captain Inkrabia Fadate made the argument as to why his clients should be granted bail. Aisha Huang and the other accused persons in this particular case are being taken out of the court premises here at the circuit court back to the police custody where they are supposed to be until the case is recalled or the next sitting date.
So I respect my lord for the decision he has given. I accept it. But I will go to chambers, and myself and my colleague lawyers will decide the way forward. What happened was that I was defending Aisha 1 at High Court Criminal 1. Then, on the day that we were supposed to open our defense, the Attorney General entered noli prosequi, which means don't prosecute. Then the Attorney General took my client away from the court. The next thing I heard the next day was that my client had been flown out of Ghana, back to China or wherever, but out of Ghana. I didn't understand why the Attorney General did not allow us to finish the case. I think it was a wrong move, but they took her out of Ghana. Today we are being told in the court that she sneaked out of Ghana, which is false, a blatant untruth, an inaccurate statement. I was not at the bar conference, but I'm told that the Attorney General says the cooperation of the judiciary is required to keep these people in custody. If it is true that my learned friend, the Attorney General, made such a statement, then it is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. And in the light of that, the decision to refuse bail gives credence to what is being said, which is unfortunate, most unfortunate.
So you pretty much relied on some of the engagements that have gone on within the media space. How do you reconcile the Information Minister's revelation that she was repatriated to the statement from prosecutors today that she sneaked out of the country?
My worry is that the media has overhyped this small matter of mining without license and doing mineral sales without license. It's a small matter. It happens every day in Ghana. So I don't see why the media should even write an editorial on this matter. And it is that which is creating a problem and giving all manner of insecurity to the issue.
But you have engaged there. Do you have a sense of how she got into the country?
I don't know how she entered Ghana, but I don't want to say that I want to indict Ghana Immigration Service, because any foreigner who comes to Ghana passes through our borders, and each of our borders are manned 24 hours by immigration officers. So immigration cannot tell me that they don't know how she entered Ghana.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We are currently at Circuit Court 9, where Chinese Galamsey Quinping Aisha Wan was brought to court to face charges for some crimes she has committed. Our colleague Sixtus Dong Ulo, who's our court correspondent, monitored the proceedings and joins us to give us updates on how things went.
Today, essentially, it was about determining bail for all the four accused persons in custody. The prosecution made the case, this is led by Chief Detective Frederick Sapong, made the argument that per the nature of the case and the sort of public interest that has been shown in this particular matter, the prosecution would want to ensure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, to ensure that they won't start prosecution and then there would be a problem. And the worry for the prosecution in this particular instance is that if they granted bail, there was the potential of Aisha Wan and the other suspects of tampering with witnesses, of interfering with police investigations. They also said that as it stands now, even Aisha Wan is unable to tell how she got into the country, by what route she got back into the country. This is the account, the narrative that we are getting from the prosecution in court. And so based on all of these things, the prosecution thinks that investigations will still have to be done. Now, lawyer Nkrabea Efadate, who represents Aisha 1 and some of the accused persons, that's 3 of them in all, wondered why the prosecution, since the last adjourned date and today, which has been some 14 days, has not been able to thoroughly exhaust all the investigations that they had to conduct. And so in his estimation, there was no need whatsoever for the court to be talking about time for prosecution at this moment, for investigations at this moment. The second argument he made with regards to the bill was that pronouncements have been made by the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, to the extent that sounded like some solicitation of the cooperation of the judiciary to see to a successful prosecution of this matter. And he thought that that was wrong. He thought that that was unfortunate. But presiding His Honor Samuel Bright Appiah thought otherwise. Indeed, he agreed that the case has taken a rather high turn with a lot of public interest, not just locally, but abroad. The funny statement he made, that even the fishes in the sea and the birds of the forest all have taken interest in this case. And so it is not a case that you can easily just put on the quiet. So based on that, the high level of public interest in the case, His Honor said there was the need to remand the accused persons so that the investigations would be done and the case could continue. And so they've been remanded. All 4 of them have been remanded, and we are expecting them to back in court on the 27th of September.
And those are some very interesting arguments from the counsel of the accused persons. But then what would you say was the demeanor of Aisha 1 and her counterparts?
We saw calm, sad-looking Aisha 1 and the other accused persons. Intermittently, we saw her, wipe off some tears, and so we saw that, or we thought that she was sad about the whole incident.
Thank you very much. That was my colleague Sixtus Dong Ulo, our court correspondent, bringing us updates on the proceedings in court today with regards to the case of Aisha 1 and 3 other Chinese nationals who are being accused for engaging in illegal mining activities.
A number of interesting comments after the court proceedings yesterday. I mean, the major story clearly was the fact that Aisha 1, together with her accomplices, were denied bail. But the lawyer for Aisha 1, Captain Retired, and Krabia Efadate, made some comments after proceedings. And some of them, I don't know, he raises some legitimate issues in there, and others also quite
regrettable if you ask me, and shockingly embarrassing. I mean, I get that he's a lawyer and he would want to represent his clients in the best possible way, both their interest in this matter and of course their businesses. But I mean, to go on to make certain comments about the state of illegal mining in the country and its adverse effects on their lives and even the whole makeup of society, for me is just not it. I mean, it's unthinkable to really say that we are making a big deal out of this illegal mining menace. I mean, for crying out loud, it's an existential issue. It's about lives over here. You go to the hospitals, doctors are telling you that the intake or the consumption of cyanide, which is used in this mining, is causing some form of serious health implications and even deformities in some people. You go to other places, they tell you that even researchers have gone some length to tell us that in the next 10 to 15 years, we probably will not even have drinking water to survive on if this is not brought to a stop. So I find it very difficult to understand how this is not a big issue, and for which reason the media shouldn't take it up. So, like I'm saying, it was quite regrettable hearing the learned lawyer for Aisha Huang make those comments. But like I'm saying, he's a lawyer for them, he's counsel for Aisha, so you'd want to be seen to be defending some of these things, but some things are really indefensible if you want to be honest.
But what really worries me from yesterday's proceedings is the contradiction that came out between the government on one hand and the prosecution. In this case, the police, because it seems still we do not have concrete information on what happened or might or was supposed to have happened to Aisha Juan in 2018. Prosecution is saying she sneaked out of the country and back into the country. Government insists, well, government is still playing with the two words, deportation and repatriation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the prosecution in court says she sneaked out of the country.
I mean, the only consistent thing in this whole Aisha Juan debacle for me, or even fiasco for me, is the inconsistency with government communication in all of this. I mean, the inconsistencies have become a bit too much. And for me, it's quite clear that one or two parties are probably not telling Ghanaians the truth. They are not being quite honest with us with all that's happening. I mean, if you listen to the information minister speak when he came out to clarify some of the things the president said, in 2019, the president used the word deportation. The senior minister at the time, Honorable Yao Osafo Mafo, did say same. And now we understand it's a repatriation. I mean, the difference is really, they are quite similar, but one has to do with making sure that some protocol, international protocol, is followed to your home country. I mean, there's even extradition and all of those. But you see, for me, I don't want us to limit the conversations to the use of semantics or words. The point is that we are facing an existential crisis in the form of illegal mining. And the cry of Ghanaians really is about the fact that we need to put an end to this as soon as possible. And using, you see, this is not one of those issues where we should be playing partisan politics. It's not the appointment of some NCC boss somewhere or some debate or motion set in parliament for party. I mean, this is something that is confronting the lives of Ghanaians. And for me, I struggle to see how we are playing politics with it. But you see, we would want to give government some time. We've heard the minister say that, in fact, even the review of the Mining Act 703, for instance, is one of the things government is trying to do to take the fight seriously. I'm saying the second coming of Aisha Juan, second coming in quotes, the second coming in quotes.
I like how you put it.
Yeah, the second coming of Aisha Juan should be the defining moment in our fight against illegal mining. And posterity will be judging us if we don't take this quite seriously.
Right. I mean, there are a number of issues we can raise with respect to this, but for the lack of time, we'll move on. I mean, if the lawyer says she's married to a Ghanaian businessman, by virtue of marriage, she is a Ghanaian.
Citizen,
and so this repatriation thing is questionable.
True.
Have we gone to see which sites she operated? And how large or how small are these sites and her contribution to the devastation? Do we even have a proper assessment of the businesses she is alleged to be running? I mean, a number of issues, but hey, we choose to play politics with our lives. So, I mean, this is where we are.
When you have a president who is on record to have said in the State of the Nation address that for he's minded about the next generation and not the next election, I'm sure the next generation are also minded about safeguarding the environment. So we want to see some decisive action from the president and from all stakeholders, major stakeholders involved.
Well, National Security Minister Albert Kandapa seemed to have caused a stir within the civil aviation space. We understand an officer who, allegedly embarrassed the minister earlier was indicted, but that indictment we hear has been revised.
Airport Company Limited has revoked the interdiction of one of its aviation security officers, Awudu Bassett. The said security officer was interdicted for conducting a pre-boarding search on the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, an action airport authorities said was an embarrassment to the minister. As part of the interdiction, the security officer was to receive only 2/3 of his salary during the period of interdiction. But the disciplinary measure, according to the airport company, has been reconsidered following further consultations and facts available to management of the company.
I listen to this and it's one thing comes to mind: recruitment, training, background checks. Do we do all that? How is it that you work at the airport? Ghana Airport Company, a security officer, and you do not know the National Security Officer, Minister
for the country. I mean, if it was some deputy minister somewhere who was using and mind you, it was the VVIP the minister was using. So, like I'm saying, if it was some deputy minister somewhere, I could understand. But you see, the truth of the matter is that all throughout the world, there are always security breaches everywhere in the world. I was reading a book from one of former U.S. President Obama's staffers, presidential staffer, and she was recounting out during the funeral of the late Nelson Mandela, the Secret Service, that's the protection body for the president of the USA, had some mishap, and for which reason they arrived at the country before their weapons got to South Africa for the funeral of Nelson Mandela. So, and he was stuck, the President Obama was stuck in the plane for the whole period. I mean, it was recounted in her book, in her memoir, when she left the White House. I mean, so like I'm saying, security breach, and this is the President of the United States I'm talking about. So, you see, security breaches happen all the time. Yeah. It's only that the West doesn't happen. So we don't usually get to hear of some of these security breaches. And we hope that it doesn't get to that point. But like I'm saying, the earlier interdicting the officer initially was quite harsh. It was quite harsh to put it. And now that they've looked or gone through the process again, it's better that.
But what of the argument that he was just doing his job?
That is what I actually side with. I mean, there are basic protocols in some of these things. So maybe searching or embarrassing the minister, like the airport put it out there, will be quite a bit of a rope to hang. But I mean, if you look at the explanation coming again, he was probably just doing his job. So I mean, it was much ado about nothing really in the first place.
And you see, it also brings to the fore how we take our security for granted. Yeah. This is the National Security Minister, a person who superintends over the security of this country to an extent. Clearly, this person is a target to some unscrupulous persons. Yeah. So where was his own security detail? What protocols are there for him when he has to access such facilities as at the airport? Who went off ahead of him to announce his arrival or to even, ensure his easy passage through the facility? Was this done and this security officer insisted on still searching him?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, security breaches happen all the time. And we just hope that, or the hope is that some dubious people don't just take advantage of it. But like I'm saying, it's a much ado about nothing if you ask me my opinion. And we even understand from certain people close to the minister that he wasn't even in favor of the interdiction of the officer in the first place. So now that is coming up, I hope we'll make the necessary adjustment to the security details for such persons. Not only VVIP people, but even the entire security architecture of a very important institution like the airport, so that some of these breaches do not occur as frequently in that manner.
All right, so let's look at our recruitment, our training, and of course the protocols that we put some of our statesmen through. But Jude, the inflation is rising.
Charlie, Chrome
Hey, it's not easy.
Chrome
Ghana's inflation is almost 34%. Take a look at this.
Inflation rate continues to soar as records indicate that on a year-on-year basis, the prices of goods and services have shot up significantly by over 33%. Per figures from the Ghana Statistical Service, GSS, the general price level in August 2022 was 33.9%, higher than the same period last year. Year-on-year inflation for housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuel was the highest. The GSS, however, disclosed that the country recorded its lowest month-on-month rate of inflation for 2022 at 1.1%. Professor Samuel Enim is a government statistician.
August 2021, year-on-year inflation for the month of August 2022 stood at 33.9%. This indicates a 2.2 percentage point higher rate of inflation relative to the rate that was recorded in July 2022. In July 2022, the rate of inflation stood at 31.7%, and this has gone up by 2.2 percentage points for the month of August 2022. We see an exact reversal of this on a month-on-month basis. For the first time in 2022, we've recorded the lowest month-on-month rate of inflation, which stood at 1.9%. This also compares with a 2.2 percentage point reduction relative to the rate that was recorded in July 2022. On a month-on-month basis, in July 2022, rate of inflation stood at 3.1%, and for the first time in 2022, the lowest rate has been recorded for the month of August 2022, with a month-on-month inflation at 1.9%. So literally on a year-on-year basis, we say that prices of goods and services on the average between August 2021 and August 2022 have gone up by 33.9%, and on a month-on-month basis between July 2022 and August 2022, prices of goods and services went up by 1.9% relative to the month-on-month 3.1% that was recorded for the period June to July 2022.
Well, basically, the inflation rate is the rate at which you and I can buy goods and services, and this keeps going up.
And also the decreasing purchasing power of money.
Yeah, exactly. So you may have X amount of money today, but you will not be able to buy X amount of goods or services as you could have done some time back. I mean, Nana, and it's really serious.
I was so a very apolitical friend called me and was asking me, Jude, what's all of this about this whole inflation? And how does it really affect you? And I was explaining to him that has he heard of the new price of a sachet of pure water? I was like, yeah. And I was saying, remember back in the day when you want to buy pure water, you have 20 pesos, you can buy about 3 of you have 20 pesos, you can buy 1 sachet of pure water. Now we understand the price has jumped to 50 pesos. So it means that if you have 1 cedi, 50 pesos, you can buy 3 sachet of pure water. Meanwhile, just about December or even the early part of February, 5 cedis could get you a whole bag. Which about 30 pieces of pure water inside. So it's a funny conversation, but it goes back to the structural problems within our economy. We've been saying it time and over again that the lack of fiscal discipline really is one of the main problems facing our economy. So we should go back to the fundamental. We should go back to the basis again. And I've even heard that some economists are pushing for the Fiscal Responsibility Act. I mean, we sidestepped it during the COVID period to make way for some unforeseen spending. But I think it's about time we go back to some of these things again. And with the coming of the IMF, we hope that we are able to renegotiate our debt structuring again, so that we don't, I mean, come to think about it, almost a third of our GDP is used to service debt. And for me, it is really not sustainable. So bigger conversations have to be had. I really hope the BOG and the managers of our fiscal policies are putting in place some measures to curb this. We understood from the information ministry that the 750 million Afri-Exim loan was supposed to help address the cedi depreciation and even check some of these things, but apparently it doesn't seem to be the case. So we need to look at some of these things again. If you look at the top 5 drivers of inflation, I mean, I struggle to understand some of the things on the list. I mean, number 1, grapes, and I'm asking you, I mean, for me, I don't really remember the last time I had grapes. Maybe you are the bougie one on this set. Maybe you eat it on a regular basis, but for me, I don't really recall the last time I even. So you see, we need to look at some of these things again. Our importation policy as a country. I mean, importation substitution. All of these things are things we have to start looking at again. But like I'm saying, let's renegotiate our debt. Let's review some of the things we spend money on as a country. And for me, I've been saying that the largesse of government really. I mean, Nana Tufo, why do we have a minister in charge of works and housing? Then we also have a minister of state at the presidency in charge of works and housing. Why do we have
finance?
I mean, why do you have a minister? Why do you have a minister for transportation and have a minister for railways? Like, what's really the thinking? You get it? So, and all of these people are being their vehicles are being fueled. They are paying salaries. They are paying personal assistants who most of them do absolutely nothing. So the largesse of government really is having a serious toll on our economy.
Cut down the rhetoric, show commitment to really working to improve the economy, and all this, I mean, will come. And you see, it comes also brings it to the fore the issue of prioritization. Because if government should prioritize some of its expenditure, it will go a long way to bring down inflation. I mean, food inflation is one of the major drivers of the national inflation, right? So if we are putting in measures to reduce the rising cost of food in the country, clearly it will go a long way to bring down inflation.
And we just keep borrow to service consumption related expenditure, and it's really not sustainable. So like we've been saying, let's cut down on our government size. Let's look at for instance, the excessive show and with regards to flagship policies. I mean, all of those free SHS. Let's come together. Let's review. Let's look at where money is going to. That's not really making sense, and begin to make sure that the economy takes shape again.
Quite worrying that at the time that we're seeking a bailout from the IMF, our inflation is hitting a 21-year all-time high. I mean, it hasn't risen this high since 2001. Quite disturbing there. Let us know what you also think. Send us your thoughts and your comments. comments via the WhatsApp number 0550585832. Still ahead on CNR Extra. Government urged to prioritize the maintenance of road infrastructure in the country. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the details.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I see. You guys can hear what's all for it. What's that? Life is too short, I know if you waste time. Where they up at this, why or not they sleep, make you wake up. Who they call me if you know the party, call me later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, it makes a link combo.
Good day energy drink. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're watching CNR Extra on Citi TV. My name is Nanatufo Boateng, and I'm doing this with Jude Mensah and Duncan. Let's move on to our next story. And some residents of MIM in the Sunafo North District of the Afro region, well, they are not so happy with the fact that some projects in their community have been stalled over the years.
Of MIM in the Sunafo North District have called on the government to pay attention to the stalled projects in the area. They are urging the Akufo-led administration to complete all abandoned projects to enable the community develop. The following report has more.
MIM is a popular town in the Afro region because of the cashew and timber industries located in the area. The town remains one of the biggest and populous towns in the Afro region. According to the residents of MIM, the community is not getting the needed infrastructure development, and the few ones initiated have all been abandoned. The residents in the town are happy with the stalled government projects that are dotted in the community and would have gone a long way to benefit the inhabitants.
Na mi wo dwom ha me na me ye entosi for him a mi wo ye wo dwom ha na on beka kire se dwan se de asi aye no on be se o mu bubu na o mu si foforo maye enti o mo de ye kɔ runabout ho e ho no mo kra no so ye proto afo station and o mo de ye kɔ ho mo na o mo kan ho asam na o mo de ye kɔ ho so mo ma ye ti ase 6 months time o mbe wie na o ma sa de ya ba back o mo de ansa be so adwuma no mu no e ho a na o mo aba adwuma oh wow, my 3 years ni.
The area has say no. Ya wonkwala o mayo ma adwene so mbebobo. Ya park ananka wo ho a ya boso ball kakra. Regional Minister ni aban ebe share say wo mo de 3 months ebe ye Estotech amaye e wo Methodist Park. and so we dwi park yi etwitwa amana edigu honom 2 years na abai me ne wo ka se wokosi so a areho kroma se ehɔ na ye yie kase bebe bia hɔ na ye no nti ye sra aban se saa amana na wo ma betwitwa ato hɔ no ye pa ne kyɛw omomra no meye ye park ne maye
ya kwa de nyame nukure ni ɛha yɛn efi se nsuo to a wo mu tifataja wo mu de number 1 phone number 2 phone wo manya ba bi kota nam so number 3 phone no wo mu ni kota nsuo to a wo mu timi makrum moto kura kofo wo ma na ayasem wo hwɛ dɔm ya bla kwan a enye se beto aba de wo de machine besi so no ma yɛn kama ye to aba ne wie ya na ye jai ye hu se panimu be ba ha ne de machine akosi so ne ya ne kama panimu ne ko wie ya ne ya ja bibi ato etia kwa asem de ha ye pa se wo yɛn tu ho anamo a
a group calling itself MIM Development Foundation, addressing a press conference, reiterated the need for the government to complete all abandoned projects in the area so that the inhabitants will benefit from its usage.
It is so disheartening that we, the MIM and MIM Youth Community Development Foundation, it's more particular about the MIM market, which has been abandoned at the moment. This market will serve as a major market center for the MIM and its environs. Also to talk about the astroturf that has been abandoned for the past years, we want the government to also intercede in completing this astroturfs for the people of MIM to enhance sporting activities here. Secondly, the MIM intercity roads, the MIM Pipe 20 to MIM Misek Road, the MIM Domiabra roads, and MIM Zongo road should also be attended to as soon as possible. Our concern is also about the MIM Community Center, which we want the government to also intercede as soon as possible to complete that project for the good people of MIM. Lastly, we appeal to the government to give a MIM a district capital. We are demanding, looking at the population of MIM, we demand a district capital for the town.
Efforts to get authorities at the Sunafo North District Assembly to speak on the issue were unsuccessful. The youth of MIM are urging government to ensure that all abandoned projects in the town are completed. For MIM in the Half region, I am Michael Saponifum for Citi News.
I keep saying that until we have policies and programs that transcend political parties, we will continue to see some of these things. Everyone wants to come to power and create a legacy of their own. And that's how come some of these projects are stored. It can be understood that you may start a project with some funding. The funding may be cut at a point. But efforts should be made to complete some of these projects, especially those that are as beneficial to the community as these ones.
I mean, if you've lived in Accra almost your entire life, there's a tendency to think that the whole of the country is Accra.
Yeah.
And if you are like someone like me who probably everything, his schooling and everything was probably within a 9-kilometer radius of where he stays, you tend to really forget about the bigger picture of some of these things. And for me, that is why I really love our About Town show here on Citi TV, hosted by Caleb Kuda. Because I mean, he goes into some of these places and brings out,
highlights the challenges, the realities of the people in there.
So and you get the impression that we are actually a really huge country, not huge in terms of global standards, but in our own right, we are quite a big country, and we've come far. But there still exists some very peculiar challenges we have expected that at this time of our growth as a country would have really tackled. And the situation in MIM in the Bono region for me is one of such examples. I mean, I don't understand why very basic infrastructure projects like chip compounds and all of those things up until now have not been fully completed and functioning appropriately. So that is why we need our MPs to our elected representatives, making sure that they bring or highlight some of these things in our parliament. So the national cake is spread evenly. If it's not been
well, the cake is not finished. Is there still some cake left?
Is there the cake? The cake, they are making it in somebody's house right now.
Even the cathedral has stored. You are thinking of national cake.
So, I mean, the national cake has to be spread evenly. Whether or not it's being baked in someone's house, or whether or not the icing is now that the icing is left, whatever it is with the national cake, it has to be spread evenly. So everybody can benefit really as a citizen of this country.
Right. Talk of infrastructure, and we know that roads is one of the major ones. Well, the president-elect of the Ghana Institution of Engineers says if we are able to maintain these roads periodically, they would last the lifespan for which they were designed.
President-elect for the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Kwabena Bempong, wants government to prioritize the maintenance of road infrastructure in the country. He believes Ghana's roads can last for the expected design lifespan should the appropriate authorities embark on routine repair works. There is more in the following report.
A number of roads and bridges across the country have deteriorated as a result of shoddy work, lack of funds to continue the projects, and lack of maintenance, amongst others. Some of these roads could have been made more trouble should the appropriate authorities embark on routine maintenance. Speaking to Citi News after a lecture to highlight the contribution of Ghanaian engineers to development at the College of Basic and Applied Sciences, President-elect for the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Kwabena Bempong, noted that regular maintenance of a road project after its completion is the surest way to ensure it meets the expected design lifespan. He added that metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, MMDAs, have a key role to play in making sure roads are well maintained.
If you have an asset and you do not manage it, and one of the facts of management is maintenance, because once you build something, immediately you complete it, it will start deteriorating, and once it starts deteriorating, there is the need for you to have an input of maintenance to raise it to the original level, maybe not up to 100%, but maybe to 95%, and then it will deteriorate again, and then you raise it. So you keep on going through this cycle of maintenance to ensure that your asset has value. In the road space, we have, or what I'll call the road ecosystem, we have the Ministry of Roads.
Do we need to rehash this? Do we need to re-echo this? I mean, we have a poor maintenance culture in this country. Listen, I drive on the motorway almost every morning and back every evening. And Jude, the dangers we survive on the motorway.
It become a death trap.
Exactly. So, I mean, I want to agree with Engineer Kwabena Bempong on his call.
Our biggest problem in this country after partisan politics is probably our lack of maintenance culture in this country. I mean, when we went to the Accra Sports Stadium during the MPP
the National Delegates Conference
to cover it, I was really appalled by the terrible state of the Accra Sports Stadium.
Exactly.
I mean, and this is an institution we renovated some about 10 years ago. Even before the likes of Wembley in England. I mean, I don't want to compare because the resources are different. But the point is that if you are maintaining some of these national infrastructure quite regularly and seriously as we should, we will not be in the state where we are. So it's sad that some of these things are happening. But I agree with you. We can't allow some of these state buildings and infrastructure projects rot just like that. There should be some deliberate approach in making sure that we keep them in very pristine conditions and make sure that even the next generation can really benefit from some of these roads, be it roads, be it buildings, be it whatever it is.
Clearly, of course, I mean, we need to ensure proper maintenance. I mean, roads and other infrastructure likewise are built for a purpose and expected to last a particular period. But without proper maintenance, of course, we'll be losing out on all this. You're watching CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Still ahead. Road traffic offenders arrested during Citi TV's War Against Indiscipline campaign call for application of spot fines. We'll bring you the details shortly. Do stay with us.
Jeanette Services presents the 2022 edition of Women in Worship, themed The Holy Spirit Experience. Come Sunday, September 25th, all roads lead to Royal House Chapel International, Kaneshi Roundabout for a Holy Spirit encounter. Gates open at 4 p.m. sharp to lead us to the throne room of worship. All the way from Jamaica, Chevelle Franklin, from Nigeria, Judy K, from Congo, Deborah Lukali, and from Ghana, PSA Esther, Jude Lamote, and Celestine Doncor. Tickets are selling at 70 Ghana City single, 120 double, and 150 VIP. Visit Airport Shell, Bachana Total, Community 11, 1 and 2 Shell, Royal House Chapel, or log on to www.egotickets.com or dial *737 *606 hash or download My GH Pay. Sign up, select Pay Merchants, and search for Women in Worship. For ticket reservation, kindly call 024-8810-396. This event is brought to you by Official Media Partners. For further information, call 055-7747-977. Women in Worship. Daughter, you still have a voice.
That's why we say, oh, say yeah.
I see. You behind this guy was all for too. What's that? Life is too short, I know if you waste time. Where they up at this, why on not they sleep, make you wake up. Who they call me if you know the party, call me later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, it makes a link up.
Good day energy drink. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
This advert is FDA approved.
Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is CNR Extra on Citi TV. Now, some motorists who were arrested during Citi TV's War Against Indiscipline campaign are calling for spot fines. They think that the court process and everything is too cumbersome. They want to be fined on the spot.
Motorists arrested under the initiative are calling for a spot fine system in order to avoid wasting productive work hours at the police station. The motorists whose vehicles were impounded were arraigned on September 14, 2022, did not get the attention of the La Moto Court due to other pending cases. The frustrated alleged traffic offenders considered that minor road
on the day 3 of
Citi
CCTV's War Against Indiscipline, the police MTTD positioned themselves on the Gimpa Strait in the morning. 4 drivers were arrested for driving on the wrong side of the road.
From National Headquarters, we have arrested you for using the middle of the road. So we'll process you for court.
Another Pajero vehicle that attempted to use the median of the road has been arrested by the police, and he's been asked to park well. So the operation has just started this morning, and so far 3 vehicles have been arrested this morning for driving on the wrong side of the road. And let's hear what he has to say.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Izong Edmond.
My name is Emmanuel.
From National Headquarters.
Yes, please.
Please, I have arrested you for using the middle of the road.
Yes, yes. You're welcome.
Me drive and at the same time, who say a part of many down. And minim dia wo mo aka say me drive manim da ho kai di manim no ye ka ntimi nko so me ntia say me use me do ho na what watch me o hwe me lanzi kura me am No, you don't know.
Maybe some of them may have reasons why they did what they did. My name is Fred. What's your full name, sir?
My full name is Emmanuel Kofi.
But why would you be driving in the middle of the road, knowing very well that you are actually following traffic?
Okay, the time I reached, I saw the traffic is here. It is not moving. I saw the big car is not going. So I want to quickly fast and come and cross the big car and join the queue. That's what I just passed.
But every Ghanaian wants to be fast. Why?
Oh, I'm not. It's not be I'm fast. So because you can see the junction there, the more traffic is there. This road is blocked. Here is blocked. So I saw the big car is not moving. That's why I just crossed the big car and come and join the queue.
Now you wanted to be a bit fast. Now they've slowed you down.
I drive the car is long time. I don't want to come with the camera.
His excuse is that he was actually rushing to take his son to school, and I can see the small boy in the car. Hey, fine boy, how are you?
I'm fine.
What is your name?
Jason, could you repeat, please?
Where do you school?
Roman Ridge.
Well, your dad has since been caught by the police for doing the wrong thing. You were in the car. What did you make of your dad's offense?
Like, he was using the middle of the road. He's not my dad, he's my mother's driver, but he was using the middle of the road. I've been telling him, don't use the middle of the road. You get arrested, don't use the middle of the road. And now today...
That is the gentle boy who said he actually cautioned the driver not to drive in the middle of the road, but he went against his suggestion, and now they've all fallen on the wrong side of the law. The motorcade is escorting about 3 of those vehicles to the Legon police station. The team later moved to the East Legon Underbridge area, where 8 other vehicles were arrested for various traffic offences, including driving on the wrong side facing oncoming vehicles. Some of the offenders accepted their charges but believed the system should be streamlined to fine on the spot.
I parked my car at the roadside to engage a carpenter to do a work for me, only to rejoin the traffic. And officers said, "You have arrested me." Okay, you arrested me, fine. Then you are asking me, you took a statement, then you impounded my vehicle. The vehicle is not exhibit. Look at how this compound is choked here. You have my GP address. What do you need for? Why do you impound my vehicle? I have to go and work to feed my family. Do you expect me to go hungry just because you have committed a road offense? Why don't you not spot fine? Fine me, give me a letter, pay me payment, and go home.
When I was coming on the road, I realized that there were portions of the road with thick lines where you can't cross, and there were portions of the road that had like spotted or dotted lines where you can cross. So I didn't know what to make of it when I crossed, and I don't even know if I crossed on a thick line or a dotted line. But I'm sure that around the same time I was arrested, if you keep impounding people from work to come stay here for long hours without doing anything, since I've been here, I've not seen any documents, I've not written anything down, nothing. Spot fines are the way. This one, you are arrested, it's just a crossing lane. You have not done anything harmful. It's not going to contribute to the general traffic of the country.
12 more vehicles were impounded today, bringing the total to 38, the total number of vehicles in police custody. The pool of cars, including a vehicle belonging to Dr. Lawrence Tete, who is the founder and leader of the World Miracle Outreach. Some drivers who were scheduled for court today didn't get the attention of the Lamuto court due to impending marital cases. Police chief is trying to have some conversation with some of the drivers that were arrested yesterday, and most of them are expressing concerns over the fact that they were taken to court today, but the court did not really hear their case. Therefore, their whole day was wasted yesterday. Today too, their day is going to go waste because literally their cars are parked here and it's going to be detained here until the court determines otherwise.
We went to the court this morning, and the special prosecutor told us that today is not for criminal cases, but it's for marital cases, so we should come back and then go back tomorrow. So they've just wasted our time at the courts. We wasted our money, our time, and then.
The commander of the Accra region of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Joseph Appiah, who led the operation, expressed worry over the continuous interference from higher echelons of power.
Since we started this war against indiscipline, a number of interference. You arrest somebody for violating a traffic rule, then the colleague, sometimes even you the same officer, your colleague, or other colleagues of the arrested officer, they will be calling, trying to plead on their behalf, a whole lot. And some are even political, but sometimes we have to stand on our grounds and ensure that the proper things are done. The war against indiscipline on our roads is not individual attacks. It's something that all stakeholders must come on board and ensure that it is sustained.
My name is Fred Duo reporting for Citi News.
In sympathizing with these offenders, you'd want to agree with the call they are making. But I'm wondering if per our current legal regime, there's room for that. Perhaps as is practiced in other jurisdictions, you get a ticket for a traffic offense and it's deducted from your salary or something, or you have a stipulated period within which to pay. But here is a country where even our digitalization drive has not reached. Even linking our Ghana cards to our SIM cards, we are being blocked. So I wonder how this is going to work.
I mean, I agree with you. In the long term, we should be looking at some of these things, innovative measures. But I see, if you listen to some of these road traffic offenders, they tell you that, we're in a hurry. We have to quickly go.
Everyone is in a hurry.
Everybody's in a hurry. But I see
2 days ago, I think almost everyone that was arrested was sick and was on their way to the hospital. Today, everyone is in a hurry.
I mean, there'll be some genuine cases, but most often than not, it's just people trying to just find a way around the law. I mean, back in our schools, they taught us that patience is a virtue. If you feel like you have to move from point A to B and you have to do it within a certain time, just leave the house early. So it's unfortunate that they had to go through this whole long period, and even at the end of the day, the courts didn't get to hear them and all of that. But like I'm saying, if you had followed through the traffic, you wouldn't have ended up in such a situation. No matter how late or how difficult or strenuous the traffic would have been, at the end of the day, the car would have moved and you wouldn't have spent your whole day there. So it's a perfect initiative by Citi TV and the TTD of the police service. We hope that it's widespread in different parts of the country. And I'm sure if we do this continually, after a set period of time, we'll begin to see the necessary improvement with regards to the obeying of road traffic regulations in this country. It's a step in the right direction.
Let's just be disciplined on our roads. As simple as that. The roads itself are not in any good shape already. They are already contributing to the crashes we are seeing and the casualties we are recording. So, I mean, as human as we are, let's do our bit to stay disciplined on our roads and prevent some of these unnecessary deaths and crashes that we do record. Well, this has been our show for today, CNR Extra, here on Citi TV. I've been doing this with Jude Mensah Duncan, who always comes with the sharp points. But thank you so much, Jude, and thank you to you out there for watching us. My name is Nana Tufo Boateng. We'll see you again, same time tomorrow.